Hello, everyone. Hello, Jennifer. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these. It's been a little while. Yeah. I didn't realize how long until I went to schedule this one, and I was like, oh my, it has been since September. Yeah, that's a long time. Oh, so I decided to do this. I haven't had a nice where we just go live and we play. Now, there is sort of a plan. I know what I'm going to be working with, but that's about where it ends. Yeah. This is, oh, Jennifer, on the couch with COVID. No, that's not nice. That's not nice. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. So I've got some things here. And the reason how this started is I did this page on the weekend. Oh my gosh, I am obsessed with this. I have had the spellbind or not spellbinders. Why do I always say spellbinders? The Mintay Art Journal Essentials. This is fairly new for them. So they came out with the stickers. Currently, we only have these in stock, the beige ones. The words are the same. The only thing that different is the color. So we've got the beige, the white, the black. The white and the black are on the way. Our Mintay order just left Europe, so it should be arriving tomorrow or the next day. So we are getting these ones back in stock. So if you want them, you can click on notify me and you will get a notification when you see those. And then they also have these 6x8 journal paper pads. So the one that I used on this layout, let me just move these out of the way. The ones that I used here, hi Joanne, are from the Blue Portraits. It's my favorite. Now today I'm going to try and push myself to use, I don't know if I'm going to use all three, but I'm definitely going to try and use the green with the blue. I might try and do something with this. I haven't decided. But this one's my favorite because of the faces. They're absolutely gorgeous. Now, if you are a follower of Mintay and you saw their release, their sneak peek, which they did a couple of weekends ago, they have 2 new art journal books coming. Exciting. Exciting. So I'm going to be using these because a lot of people look at these and they're like, I don't get it. I don't get how to use these. So I'm going to show you. Yeah. Gorgeous paper pads. Oh, Sharon. Sharon is using the teal. Oh, this one for her February class. Yes. That I forgot about it. Yes. The life moments. Yeah. I, I'm glad I used this, but I'm also not glad I used this because this is from the Beautifully Imperfect collection that came out from Spellbinders a couple of months ago, and we can't get this anymore. So if you got the Beautifully Imperfect, you will have this in the ephemera kit if you got the ephemera pack. But yeah, that's what that's from, is Spellbinders Beautifully Imperfect collection. The word stickers shiny? No, are they? I guess they are a little bit shiny. Yeah. Could you ink them? I don't know. I don't know if you could ink them. Oh, see, the white ones aren't shiny like those. So I would think yes. Maybe in a little bit I will try and do that. Try and remind me, Kim, because once I get into this, I'm just gonna be, yeah. Yeah. But the white ones are matte. Uh-oh. Peeled one off. The white ones are matte. The black and the canvas, or the black and the beige, are a bit shiny, but the white is matte. Yeah. Okay, let's get started. So this is the page that I did on the weekend. This is the one that I shared in the inspiration group. And then I had to do another one yesterday. I did this one yesterday and I just couldn't help myself. So this background was actually a background that I had done. I don't know when I had done it. I think I must have demoed something. It looks like stencil butters. So this background was already done. All the green and the white, that was done previously. And then I did these on top. So I do have this one at the front. I don't think I'm going to use it. I might use it for something else, but this is one that I did yesterday. Isn't it stunning? And I'll put pictures of these in the inspiration group. The butterfly, I did leave so its wings kind of pop up, but I did cover that with matte medium just to give it a little bit more strength. So it wasn't just plain paper. But look how stunning. Oh my gosh. So gorgeous. So this page here just started as a page like this. I did nothing on the background, did nothing. It just started just with the plain paper. So I'm going to start with this. Excuse me. Good thing I brought some water with me. Okay. I think I am going to use some of the stencil butters because I agree. I love the background of this. When I turned it and I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, that needs to be used. So that's why I created this one. So I am going to start with this one, just as the way it is. And I can't remember if I mentioned this, but this is the Dina Wakley Ledger Journal, which I'm absolutely loving. Love, love, love. And I've got some stencil butters. So I am going to use the stencil butters. This is a palette pad from TCW. I am just going to take some of these. I'm going to use them as a watercolor, so I actually don't need that much. So I'm just going to take some of these out. You know what? And now that I see this blue, I don't think I'm going to use that dark blue. I want the background to be fairly subtle. So I don't think I'm going to use the blue. It may come in when I use a stencil, but we'll see. So the colors that I'm using are Fern and Seafoam. Fern and Seafoam, those two colors there. And I did say that I am going to be using them as a watercolor. So if I need to use them as watercolor, I'm going to need water. Just going to add some water to those. Oh my word, what is up with my throat? So I'm just going to mix in that water, get a kind of a wash going, maybe add a little bit more water to that. Not quite as opaque as I wanted it, so I'm going to come in and add some water to that. Lovely. Let's do the blue now. Oops, mixed in some of the green. That is okay. I just wanted to put something on the background. I might grab out some more of that blue since I ruined it by using the same brush. Let's grab out some more of that blue. Let's grab a new brush. There we go. Very subtle. I just thought it would be nice just to add just some color on the background before we get started. There we go, just a little bit. Didn't want a whole heck of a lot, just wanted to break up that paper a little bit. I'm just going to wipe off this palette pad because I want to add some white paint to it. There we go. Okay, I need some gesso, which I didn't get out. Let's don't need a whole lot. Let me just grab some of that, put it on my palette pad, and now I'm going to grab a brayer here. Hello, Rosie. You didn't miss much, Rosie. Just getting started. Just going to roll some white on. And I'm not making these too opaque. They're still translucent. We're still going to get that great ledger look on the back there. And you know what? I think I am going to use, I debated on the texture paste. I got it out and I'm like, I don't know if I want to use texture paste. I don't know if I want to wait for it to dry, but I think I am. Let's grab got the light and fluffy here. Let's use this one. Nope, maybe I won't. That one is dry. Good thing I bought this one. This is the texture paste opaque matte. Let's put some of that down there. I don't want to put this on white. I think I am going to tint it. And maybe this is where I'll bring in this blue color. I'm just going to take a little bit of this blue color, not a lot. I don't want my texture paste to be really dark, so I'm just going to take a little bit. I'm just going to mix my texture paste. There we go. Okay, now let me grab a stencil. This is a new one from Visible Image. I didn't check to see if this one was in stock. So I don't know if it's in stock, but if it says out of stock, I know I've reordered some Visible Image stencils, so you could put that on there. I don't want to add a whole lot of stenciling. Just want to add a little bit. That's good. Let's turn this around and do this way. There we go. The dark blue color, is that the one? This is Ocean Blue. Ocean Blue stencil butter. If you're late and you're wanting to know the other colors, the green was Fern and the lighter blue was Seafoam. There we go. Where else do I need stenciling? I got a little bit here. Maybe a little bit on this side here. Might as well use up all this tinted texture paste because I can't put it back in the jar. That's fun. If you want to know what this stencil is called, I can't remember if I said it. It's Ledger. It's a visible image. It's from their latest release. Okay. I'm just going to set that aside just while I clean my stencil. I'm going to have to take my heat tool to that. Actually, I might let it air dry for a second, and then I can start cutting out some elements from these books. But I need to just want to clean this stencil. Just going to spray it with some water. Clean this off too. How do I decide where to stencil? Random. I tend to stencil around the edges, and I also try and do it in an odd number of spots. So 3, 5. I like odd numbers, so that's what I tend to do. As for deciding, like I said, I like to start at an edge and work my way in. So I can really do that anywhere. I can do it I tend to do the corners, 2 corners, top corner on one, bottom corner on the other. I try to visualize a triangle. Let me just clean this, and then I will bring it back in, and I'll visually try and describe what I do. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, let me bring her back in. So what I try to create, in my head, what I'm trying to create is triangles. So if I can get all of this on screen. So I've created a triangle here. I've created a triangle here. I've created a triangle here. These 3 don't really work. Well, I mean, I suppose a triangle. Just visually, that's what I'm trying to do, is create triangles. I try to keep them separate. Now, I could bring in another stencil, and when I bring in a second stencil, I tend to overlap them. I don't like things floating. Like, I wouldn't take a stencil and put it right in the middle because it's not touching anything. It's just kind of there floating. Now, you can fix that by adding elements, and that totally works. But when I start, I like to have things anchored to edges and how they kind of float, create triangles. Why not in the middle? Because for me, it's just floating. Now, not that I haven't stenciled in the middle, but I usually do that stenciling a little bit later on in the process. When I stencil at the beginning, I tend to have things anchored to edges. That's just how my brain works. No, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just, that's how I visualize things. Okay, so I am going to, what is that? This isn't that thick. Hopefully it won't take that long to dry. So I'm just going to set it along the side here, and I'm going to start kind of cutting out some elements. So let's bring our books in. I have no idea what I'm going to create. Visually, I have no idea. Yeah. But I am going to bring these in. I'm going to tear out some pages that jump out at me. Now, what else I love about these books is the inside of the front cover and the inside of the back cover have these elements that you can fussy cut out. Here on this one that I did, the butterfly was one of those that was on the inside cover of the Blue Portraits book. So that's where it came from. It didn't come off a page. Okay, so let's take a look here. Yeah, there's that one. Oh, this is the back cover right there. That's where I cut off that butterfly. I'm trying to use maybe some faces that I haven't used. I've used those 2. I haven't used this one. Let's take that one out. That one's really nice. I did two. This edge one, I don't think I used this one either. That one's really pretty. I'll probably just cut out her face and use the rest of it for something else. But those are really pretty. Now, they're both facing the same way, which isn't that big of a deal. But this is how my brain is working, is all of these faces are facing the same way. If you look at the first page I did, all the faces are facing a different way. This one's side profile. This one is side profile of the right side of the face. This is side profile of the left side of the face. So I'm just looking for things that are different, not necessarily the same. Hopefully that makes sense. In my brain, it makes sense. So I may or may not keep this one, but I think I will. I'm not going to use those. These flowers are gorgeous. I might use that one. Let me see. I've used both of those. Oh, here's another one. Oh my word. Let's see. Again, they're all facing the same way. I might not have, oh, that one's really pretty. But again, it is the left side. But you know what? I might have to use this one. I might have to throw this one in just so I get a right profile. Let me just take a look here. Okay, I definitely love these two. Love the looks of them. I love those three. I love them. Okay, so let me set those aside right now. Let's set that book aside. Now let me look, because I want to bring in some of these teals, I think. Because I think they will add just a nice, just a different color. So let me, sorry, I'm not looking at the screen. Yes, this is a heavyweight paper. It is heavy like the other Mintay paper. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so I'm going to use those. Let me look at, I haven't looked at these. Those are really cool. Okay, I got these. I may make it more, but for right now, let's use those. And then let's look at these. I don't know if I want to add a third color, but there are some really pretty florals in here that I think, yeah, maybe that one, and let's see if I can find one more. Oh, here's one. Yeah, I think those are good. A little bit different sizes. Okay, so I've got all of them. Am I going to use all of them? I don't know, but let's start cutting out some elements. So let me set these aside. Let's work on our faces, since those are our biggest elements. Fussy cutting scissors. Yes, we need those. Okay, so when I start cutting, do I know what I'm going to keep? No, I don't. But if I'm visualizing my page, I already know that I'm probably going to stick, hang on, I'm probably going to have these two on this side, kind of back to back, and this one I'm going to have over here. I don't know, I don't really want to cover that up, so I might put her up a little bit higher and use some of the other elements here. I think that's what I'm going to do. But let's set that aside to dry. Okay, let's cut her out. I am going to leave the straight edge at the bottom because that's a good anchor point. Now, if I show you this up close, see that right there, that little blue? I'm not going to cut around that. I'm just going to cut it off. Anything that is not visually appealing. I'm also going to tell you, I am not a fussy cutter. I'm not going to get right along edges. I'm just not. I leave like a little bit of a white edge, and I will show you that once I get this area cut out. Now I am going to keep the scraps. Okay, and I like how that is ending. So if you can see the edge, see, I didn't get right up to her, and you can see even around the flower. I'm not getting right up against the flower. Now, if you love fussy cutting and it brings you joy to cut off all those little itty bits, you find your joy in your fussy cutting. I do not find that kind of joy in fussy cutting. So you do you, girl. But I'm not going to do it. So if my fussy cutting does not agree with you, you better look away. But trust me, when we get to the end, it's going to look fabulous. But if you find the absolute joy in fussy cutting and you want to get all those little elements, you go for it. Okay, now I'm coming up here. I went around this flower. I am cutting off this bit, all those little bits, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to use it, but I'm not keeping it for this main image. I know some of you are just the die-hard fussy cutting, get the image out perfect. I am not one of those people, but I can appreciate the people that do. I'm also going to cut around this flower. This is gorgeous paper, by the way. Stunning, gorgeous paper. Okay, now again, here's another one of those flowers. It was the same one that was in here. I'm not going to keep it. I'm cutting around it, but I will be using it later and I will show you how. So I'm going to cut down into this flower and I'm just going to cut around this flower. There we go. Thank you for joining me today, by the way. I know I haven't done one of these in a while, but I've taken a step away from the store. I'm only going to be there about 3 days a week, so I'm going to work 2 days a week from home. But it also gives me the opportunity to do these more often. So I'm very excited. This is my goal for 2026, is more of these Get Creative with Julia. Okay, so I'm coming up to this. I'm not keeping that. I'm just reading Charlene's. I have to admit, I haven't ever created anything with faces as I can't see an appealing idea when it's in the pack, but then when I see which, oh, yes. I love creating with faces. I have face stamps. Tracy Scott, Dina Wakely do them. Those are my favorite, but I've also got some from Indigo Blue and Visible Image. I love it so much, probably because I'm not a great drawer of faces. And I've taken classes. I've taken a class from Tracy. I've taken a class from Dina, and they're great teachers. I just don't, I'm not great at it. Maybe if I gave myself some time to do more practicing, maybe I would. And maybe this year, maybe I will practice drawing faces more. Okay, this is something else I want to point out. So on here, I wanted to keep these 2 flowers, but I'm not worrying about all of this. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. Because once you get this cut down, you are still going to have a really great focal point. Just cutting around these flowers or feathers, or I don't know what they are. Do I want to keep that? I think I'm going to cut that away too. See, I don't decide what I'm keeping right off. I start with the scissors and then let the scissors guide me. That is what I do. Okay, so I've got, I'm not going to keep all these pieces, but I am going to keep some of the bigger pieces because I might cut things out of them to use on the finished page. So all the other little bits I am going to get rid of. Okay, so she's done. Let's look here. I love this. And I know I want these two to sit back to back. So I think if I cut around these florals, I think it'll look really pretty. I think that'll look really nice, those two back to back like that. So again, I do want to keep a straight edge down here. So I am going to come up and I am just going to loosely just cut up around this side. Do I want to keep this? I think it's part of her hair, so I think yes. But when I get done with it, I might see. Now, when you see this, it's got these really fine strands of hair. See that? Really fine strands of hair. I'm not worried too much about getting right up against them. The point is to keep the effect of the hair without driving yourself insane trying to make it look perfectly fussy cut out. Now, I kind of took a little bit of liberty at the top of her head there to, you know, kind of take it apart. I'm cutting off all these little flowers up at the top there, but I do want to cut around these bigger flowers down the side. And again, the bigger pieces I'm going to keep because they might come in handy with filler later on. Okay, now see this part here? There's no real defined definition, right? It's all kind of like watercolory, wish-washy in there. So I am just going to take creative license and just kind of do a bit of just a wavy line through there. And then I'm going to come down to the bottom. Okay, so the bigger pieces, let's throw them up there. Perfect. And then here's these two pieces. And I think I might try and fit them together, you know, something like that. So they almost look like one piece, but they're really two. But I'm probably going to kind of slide them together, which I think that looks really pretty. Now I've got these two straight edges, but don't worry, there's a way of camouflaging these to make it look. Oh, thanks, Lori. Yeah, have an awesome day. We'll see you later. But you can see how I can fit those together, and they'll fit together on that one page really nicely. And I love how they're back to back, right? Because they look, if you look at it really quickly, you're like, oh, it's just like one image, but it's really two that I'm putting together. Okay, so let's set that one aside. Let's work on this last one, and then we'll work on a few other images. This one is stunning, absolutely stunning. I definitely want to keep this. I'll probably end up using it. Let's start down here. I am going to try and keep this. Do I want to cut around those? I probably want to do something a little bit more defined, like that. Just to give it a little bit more interest. There we go. So you can see what I did there. I'm going to come around this flower, and then now we're up into her hair. I love the look of this in her hair. I think I need to try and keep this. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a little bit more defined trimming around that flower, but I'll just continue on here. You know what? Let me just go. I'm just going to go and cut off everything, and then I'm going to come back and kind of clean up those edges. Sometimes it's just easier to work with something a little bit, when you have a little bit less bulk to go around, it's easier to do that. Let's come in here. Hello, Jackie. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so that's the general thing that I want, but I want to come in and kind of clean this up a little bit. Now, I could come in and cut this out. I don't think I am, though. I think I want to leave it with just a little bit more weight in through here. I can still come back and clean it out once I put it on my page and kind of take a look at it. But for right now, I'm just going to clean up some of these areas around this flower here, or greenery, or whatever it is. Ferny type paper. There we go. Oops. There we go. Do you want to clean this up a little bit? Not a lot, just a little bit around her face to define those features. That is a tiny piece. There we go. So much easier to cut around these when you've cut away kind of the bulk of what you're not going to be keeping anyways. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so she's going to be on the left-hand side. These two are going to be on the right page. I am loving this. Actually, I think it's going to look more sort of like that. Hi, Carol. Well, welcome. I'm so glad you're able to join me. This is called Getting Creative with Julia. I haven't done one of these in a while, so it's basically like I'm new too. I'm hoping to do more of these this year, so stick around. Okay, so I did take these out as well. And for those of you wondering, I did in the description, I think it only shows up on YouTube though, I put a link to the Art Journal Essentials from Mintay, and everything that I'm using is in there. So I've got these from Teal Dream. I think these are going to be really nice. I'm actually going to try and keep this as one piece. And again, I'm going to keep the straight edge down at the bottom. I don't know if I will leave it that way, but for right now I am. So I'm just going to come in off the side and let's cut around some of these. And then once I'm done on my fussy cutting, I'll bring my art journal book back in. We'll see if that texture paste is dry. If not, then I'll just hit it with a bit of heat to kind of help it along. Here we go. You know what? I am going to cut this one off. I think I'm going to cut around it though. I'm going to use it as filler on my page. So it's not going to be lost. It's not going to be forgotten. We'll just add it to our pile of scraps that we're going to look at later to use as filler on our page. Now you can see I'm not cutting too close to these images. I'm trying to cut off this bulk, and I'm going to come in and kind of clean it up. It's just hard to work around those bigger pieces. Let's just speed up the process and cut off some of these. I think I'm going to try and keep this little fern paper or fern image here. Okay, so that has left us quite a bit. Now let me flip it over. Oh, I like that. Okay, let's add that to our, what is the size of the art journal that I'm using? The Legend Journal is 11.5 by 7.25. The paper is 11.5 by 7.25. Oops, almost dropped it. Okay, let me clean this up just a smidge. Now, I know some of you use the Art by Marlene 3-ring journal, which I have too. These papers will fit that paper perfectly. You won't even have to cut it down. So if you have that, that will fit in that journal. But I like cutting the paper up and layering it. And there we go. And I think we take a little off here just to give this edge just a little bit of a more interesting shape. Not sure where this is going to go on the page, but oh, that's actually not bad. That is not bad at all. I can move it up a little bit. Oh, that looks good. Okay, let me get these pieces off to the side here. That looks good. Okay. I don't know if I want to cut around these little ones. I'll keep them for right now. I might cut them off later. But let's keep them for right now. That one anyhow. I'm going to cut around here. I've been a fan of Mintay for a while. We've carried them in the store. I want to say must be close to 6 years. Let's cut that off. Is there anything on this side? That's nice. Let's keep that. And their papers are absolutely gorgeous. They're out of Poland, if you've never heard of Mintay. Their stuff is stunning. But then when they came out with this Art Journal Essentials line last fall, I was so excited. Because art journaling, that is what has my heart. I scrapbook and card make as well, but art journaling is where I really find my passion. Yeah, cutting around those, that's not fun. Oh, you fussy cutters, you need to share what kind of Kool-Aid you're drinking that gets you into the mood for fussy cutting. Okay, let's just finish this off. It's so pretty, this paper. Oh my word. This paper would also make really great cards. The pads are 6 by 8. So they would also be great for card making. Even though they're called Art Journal Essentials, don't let that turn you off of them. I think they would make great ATCs. They would make great card bases. Yeah, I think they would be really good for that. Maybe once I've done enough of these and I've got some paper left over, maybe I'll make some cards with the leftovers. Just trying to decide what I want to keep on this edge. There we go. I don't know what I'm doing with this one. Maybe on the other side of her to build up some height. That's coming together really nice. Let me just check. Oh, you know what? My texture paste is dry. So let's bring the journal back in. Let's bring this back in here. So this is what we created first. I'm just going to start kind of getting my stuff laid out. Oh, it's lovely. It's so lovely. Ooh, okay. She is too big to fit. Okay. So this is how I want these to fit on this side. Now you can see she's now spilling over to this side of the paper, but all is not lost. I am there we go. So now I can get my trimmer out. I'm going to trim down that side so I can still place her here, and this I will move on this side of that. I don't think I'm going to leave it in. Well, I might. Maybe I will leave it intact for right now. Maybe I will. That's coming along very nicely. I'm going to need something to help this area out, but that's fine. Well, I could put that here. It's going to cover up all of that. Does that matter to me? I don't know, but I love that actually. I love how that is looking. That is very pretty. Okay, I'm going to take that out for right now because I'm not 100% certain I'm going to do that. Let's actually move her up a little bit. But I'm loving this, loving this. And then we're going to have her over on this side. And this up under here. Oh, this is coming along. I love it. Love, love, love. Maybe I put this down here. This would be a great place for my sentiment to kind of mask that. That would be great. Okay, let me just leave that because I also have these. I'm still not certain if I'm going to use these, but there are a couple of flowers on here that I'm loving. So let's just take them out. If I don't use them, don't worry, they'll just go back in the book and I'll use them for something else. But I'm just thinking some individual flowers. I'm loving this color. Oh, good. I'm glad you find it helpful, Joanne. And I promise to try and do more of these. And Joanne, you can call me out if you haven't seen me doing a Getting Creative with Julie in a while. You call me out. You say, hey, just do it. Yeah, I'm not sure about the pink. Maybe not. We're gonna put it over here in the maybe pile. We're just gonna put it over there for a moment. There are some other ones. I love this cream color. And the creams, although the flowers on this one have a more gray tinge than cream, but might still work. Oh, I know you will, Joanne. Yeah, it might still work. I might keep that one. That's going to go in the maybe pile. Do I see anything else that I want to use? I am not certain. We're just gonna set those aside until we start getting things together. So she's gonna be right down here, right along that bottom edge. I'm gonna use the edge of the paper to make sure she's lined up. And this one, I keep deciding. I do have this straight edge on her, which I don't think is going to work for placement. So I'm going to come up and change that. And that looks better without having that. It seems a little bit more like it's supposed to be there. Loving that. She's going to tuck right in here. And then this green part. Okay, now I've got this green part. This is where I start thinking about balance. I have this green part here, but I feel like there also needs to be some green over on this side to help balance things out. So I really feel like this needs to be used in here somewhere. And I might just use this in here, which I think will help balance. I've got some of the greenery for this one over here. I've got some of the greenery over here. And now it's starting to feel a little bit more cohesive, like things are fitting, right? Now this. Okay. The straight edge was working until it no longer works. So I'm going to come in and I am going to take out the straight edge. And all I'm doing to take out the straight edge is to give it a bit of a wave. I leave things as is until I look at them and go, that's no longer working for me. I think I'm going to move this over. I'm just going to crease that there because I want to have this moved over, because over here it makes it feel a little bit heavy on her face. So if I move it over, it kind of doesn't make it quite so heavy. Okay, time to attach. I am working in Dina's ledger journal. Yes, I am. Okay, I'm going to set these aside. Actually, before I do, you're learning all my tricks today. So I'm going to put this in here. Now, to help me remember what I'm doing is I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to take a picture with my phone. So in 10 minutes from now, I'm going to go, what did I do? Now I'll remember. Okay, so I'm going to take these 3 pieces out. We're going to start gluing this side down first. Okay. And actually, while I've got my phone here, let's just take a quick shot of that. Awesome. Okay, so this is going to go there. I have a pencil here. Now she's going to cover up. She's going to cover up some things. So I'm not worried about my pencil being seen. So I'm actually just going to make a couple of books in my journal just to help remind me of placements. Yeah. Okay, matte medium. Grab out my matte medium. Actually, let me clean these brushes that have my paint on them. There we go. Okay, here is my very abused matte medium brush. It has seen some things. So this is just matte medium. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to put some matte medium on the back of this paper. I'm being quite generous. Now is not the time to skimp. Perfect. And now I'm going to find those marks that I made, one there, one there. While holding this down, I am going to cover this in matte medium to seal it to my page. Sometimes I like to go back in and just get some more matte medium underneath those edges before I smooth it out and cover it up. Now, there is glossy medium. Works just the same way, only it's going to give you a glossy finish. I like the matte look, not the glossy. Perfect. There we go. That is now attached. Perfect. And now she is going to come in. And I'm just going to refer back to that last photo. I just want to see if I have her placed correctly. And it looks like I do. Perfect. Just right under there. Wonderful. Okay, same thing, matte medium. Try to be very careful to get the matte medium right to the edges because you don't want this to dry and start peeling up on you. So try to get right to the edges. Perfect. Again, more matte medium over top. Just going to use my brush to get some right underneath those very edges to make sure everything is sticking down. Especially where that stenciling is, because now that is not flat. So I try to use a little bit extra down there to make sure that it's going to completely adhere. And a little bit more under the edges up here. Make sure you're sticking, especially right here along that fold line. Stick down. Just making sure there's no gobs of the matte medium anywhere. There we go, one side. Maybe white. Got matte medium on my finger. I don't want to run my hand through my hair. That would be messy. Okay, just looking here, making sure nothing is popping up. Need a little bit more here. There we go. Okay, that's coming along. Love it. Love, 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 love. Okay, so here's this one. She is the one that is going to go right in the center. Now, I'm going to adhere her down. Now, once I use the matte medium, things might get a little bit stiff, but I've done this before and I've just worked the book until it just makes a nice bend in there. So I'm not too worried about it. But I think that's going to look lovely. Now, she goes underneath and kind of on top. So I am just going to attach them where they attach up here with those flowers. That way I can put them both down at the same time. So all I've done is I've attached them where they're overlapping, and then there's a little bit down here, which you can't see, but let's. Perfect. Okay, so basically what I've done is I've taken both of those pieces of paper and I've now made them into one piece so I can attach them down at the same time. I'm just going to go over that seam, make sure I've got lots of matte medium in there. And then let's go around. And oh, Wendy, I feel your pain. I have totally done that. Sometimes I don't notice, and then I'll go like downstairs and talk to Glenn, and he's like, "What do you have on your face?" Oops. I was crafty. Okay, now this is a big piece. So I'm just going to, just for a few seconds, just kind of hold that down until that matte medium starts to catch the paper underneath. Okay, perfect. And now I'm going to come in and just make sure all of those edges. Then as soon as this dries, I'm going to then work this book so that now that's why I did it ahead of time. Oops. Yeah, there we go. I made sure to make the crease in there before I did this, so the paper already has a bit of memory to it. So once the glue dries, it's not going to fight it as much. Now, I will warn you, if you're planning on doing this, on your background, if you're doing anything, if you're using any medium that is water reactive, so sprays, distress inks, anything water reactive, if you go over it with matte medium has water properties to it, those things will start moving. You that now because I don't want you to be disappointed when you work on a really great background with awesome stenciling and you use your things and then you go to put matte medium over top of it and then it all just kind of smears, because that is what will happen. Boy, that went really bright white. Why did it do that? Okay, let's turn this around. Okay, matte medium. Now, if this bend doesn't work once this is dry, all I'm going to do is take a straight edge and I will come down and just make a really gentle cut and separate it. So I've had to do that before. It usually just depends on the paper. That's so pretty. I think I might even bend this a little bit further. Anything hanging off the edge like this, I'll probably leave it. And then I'll probably leave it. I might come back later and just trim it off because it will probably just tear anyways. So there we go. If you want to attach something over a background that has water reactive, I would just use glue. I would just glue it down, like with liquid glue. I would also, I've done it where I've just used foam, not foam, sorry, double-sided adhesive. I just wouldn't be able to seal it to the page like I'm doing here. And the only reason I'm doing this is because of all the fussy cutting. I didn't want anything peeling up. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's gonna go in the water. I think I might be done with the matte medium for the moment. Probably matte medium my sentiment down too, but let's just, ooh, that's pretty. Oh, I see something peeling up already. Little bit of glue. Let's glue you down. There we go. Oh, Brianna's here. Ooh, Okay, I am loving this. This is so pretty. Okay, I just want to take a peek in these books and I just want to see. You know, I just don't know. No, I don't think I can use those ones from the pink book. Those are going to have to be another day. I think if I was to do it, I would put these two together and without the green. I just think it's too many colors. All right, let me look and just see if there's anything else I want to use. Any more imagery. That's the word I'm trying to say. Look at how much I've used this book. It's literally falling apart. I love it so much. Oh, okay, let me bring these back in. I have all of our scraps. Let me bring those. Scrappy scraps. Probably going to do some mark making in black But I do like these little scraps. I like cutting circles out of them and just adding them to the page. Just for something different. Now, it doesn't have to be circles. You could do this in whatever shape. I just love circles. Circles speak to me. And if I don't use them on this, don't worry. I've got a little thing that I keep these things in. And like if I need something for a page, I can throw it in there. But I just love how you can cut a circle out of something and you just get like this little piece of it. And I don't have to worry about anything matching because it all comes from the same grouping, right? Oh, just remembered I did want to use this. How am I going to use it? I don't know. Let's just get it cut out first. Maybe there. I kind of like that. The one thing about art journaling is you need to know when to stop. You need to know when to, oh, I love this paper with that along there. That's cool. I'm going to cut a few of these out. See if we will be using any of those. I'm not sure, but I have them if I need them. There we go. Do I want to use that? That might be put down after. Okay. I need to add some mark making. She's starting to peel up. Well, for the love of Pete. Maybe she was meant to because I just saw this flower. And it is gorgeous. So I am just going to cut this out. Remember when I said I try to work in triangles? So my green, green, and green. I've now created another triangle. Okay, I have to get my other matte medium brush. Where is my other ruined brush that I need? There we are. Because now my other one is in water. Okay. I saw the Faces book and was like, nope. Meanwhile, I saw the Faces book and went, oh, the possibilities. Now, when you're adhering big imagery like this into your book with matte medium, you may have to go back and just do the edges. And there's been times when I've come back the next day and went, oh, darn it, that's peeling up. And I'll just come back with a tiny brush and we'll just glue it down again. But there, I've added that flower. It was the one I cut off down the side here, and I've stuck it in behind her head. But creating visual triangles, I now have green, green, and green. I've created that visual triangle. What the triangles are is they're very pleasing to the eye. They give you direction. They give your eye and your brain something to focus on. So if you've ever heard of triangles being used in art, that's why. Stick down. There we go. Oh, ooh, I love it. Okay, I'm just going to take my heat tool to it quick because there's a lot of matte medium on here. I want to dry it, and then I'm going to bring in some black paint. We're going to do some mark making and some splattering because I can't do anything without splattering. So we're just going to hit it with the tool gun, give it some heat. You don't want to take too much heat to your matte medium because then it just makes it really, really, like it heats it up and makes it sticky. I just wanted to kind of just dry it so it wasn't still wet on there. Okay, we're bring in my little palette pad here. Let's get some black paint. Black paint. No. There we are. It's got some little black dress from Paper Artsy. Put that on there. And let's grab, what do I want? Let's grab one of these. Now the mark making I am going to do so it does cross over with the paper. Again, that's just one of those things that's just going to help kind of make it feel like it's a part of the paper and not floating. Now, one of the good things is because I've covered this in matte medium, if I was to get any black paint where I didn't want it, because I've sealed this, I could come in with a baby wipe and wipe it back. So that's another good thing about using the matte medium. If it was just plain paper, once you get paint on it, it's kind of there forever. And I can't leave a page without some splatter on it. So I'm just going to wet my paint down a little bit. There we go. Ooh, it's really coming. Let me set that aside before I lay my hand in it. I will take the heat tool to that to clean it, but I think it's time. I need to start looking at a sentiment. So I've got the beige ones. The sentiments on all three of these are exactly the same. They're all exactly the same. They're just different colors. So maybe white. And because I've got, because I've got the 3 ladies on here, maybe I'll each give them their own saying. Oh, somebody wanted to know if we could ink these. Yes, right. I think that might have been you, Kim. I will just put this down and then we will try that. Oh my word. Oh, I love it. And look at that. I hardly ever do art journal pages from beginning to end, but I've actually done 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3, and all of them, well, this one was kind of cheap because the background was already done for me, but done in like less than an hour and a half. All 3 of these were all done in less than an hour and a half each. Fantastic. Okay, so Kim wanted to know, can you ink these? Let's just move this off to the side for a second. Probably won't stick it on there. I just want to make sure I'll still be able to lift it off. Okay, let me put that one there. Let's grab an ink. Let's grab a brush. Yes, Kim, I would say that you can. Now I'm just going to let me grab one of the, yeah, the beige ones have too much of a shiny sheen on them. So the ink doesn't hold on them, but the white ones, yes, you can ink the white ones. So, yeah. So, there you go. Now you know. Perfect. This isn't quite dry yet, so I'm not gonna close it, but I am gonna let it dry completely, and then I'll take pictures and I'll put them in our inspiration group. But look how gorgeous that turned out. I love it so much. I'm not going to close it all the way, but this was page number 1 that was done last weekend. This is the one that I did yesterday. And then this is the one that I did just now. The shiny ones with alcohol ink, yeah, probably. Yeah, you could probably do it with alcohol ink. I don't have any alcohol inks here, so I can't try it. But yeah, probably alcohol inks would work. Yeah, for sure. Okay, there you go. Thank you so much for joining me. It's so good to be back doing Getting Creative with Julia. Thanks for joining me. If you do want to watch this back, it will be disappearing off of our Facebook page in 30 days, but it is on our YouTube channel and you will be able to watch it as much as you want over there. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. Have a lovely day.